following is for people who play an instrument and are wondering if they should go into a career in music, meaning become a performer in that instrument or a music teacher, and kind of what happens between high school and college if you decide to take in college a path of a professional music career. So it's an anecdote about myself. When I was growing up, I thought of the piano as this kind of as a mysterious object that I would play an interval, an F and an A flat, and it would have this sound and this effect on me, and then I'd make the A flat go to B natural, a tritone, F to B, and it would have another effect on me. Then I'd learn music, I could play. And so what would happen is when I would go to my relative's house, I was Italian, we were always visiting relatives, you had to go, or people's houses, or go to a party somewhere, and this is when I was 9, 10, and 11 years old. If I saw a piano, it didn't matter if we were eating spaghetti or meatballs or whatever, I would leave the table and go to the piano and start to play. Not loudly. I didn't really want people to hear me. I wanted to have this adventure with the instrument. It was so interesting. I didn't understand why the combined sounds would have an effect on me. I didn't understand why sometimes I'd play really well and sometimes I'd be nervous. But definitely, if there was in a room 15 relatives, spaghetti, a big ice cream cake, and a TV, and a piano, I would go and find the piano. It's similar now to what happens to me when I go into a room and there's people and spaghetti or hummus and ice cream and computers and a cat. I make the beeline for the animal, or the parakeet, even the mouse in the corner, or the dog. It's a similar wonderment. This thing which is not human, but is a living system. Okay, so playing the piano a lot, I found myself jumping up to play Happy Birthday when it was somebody's birthday, to play Christmas carols when it was somebody's Christmas carol-y time period. And I became useful as a piano player. And this is when I was 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I was put into a girls' school after some damages happened when I was 13 and 14. And so I went to a girls' Catholic high school. At lunch, the girls talked about weight and boys, how much they weighed, and whether there was any boys in the horizon. And I found the conversation so stultifying that I decided to practice the piano for lunchtime. And then came the question of what was I going to major in college. And I mentioned this earlier. I had come to the conclusion, being a Vietnam War child, born in 1950, that language, writing, logic, politics led to killing. So I decided I was going to go into music. And it was obvious I was going to go into music because in my home and my friend life, I was always the musician, the piano player. I was happy if someone else played the piano, or I played with them. I played with my father. He played flamenco guitar. I would improvise along with him. But I had a function in music by means of the piano. Wait, okay. Chapter 2, I went to major in music, composition, minor in piano, in my undergrad. And then this is briefly what happened to me. I quickly ascertained that I was not the best piano player. There were better people. And this was not me. It was the environment of the music school was not to find musicians, but to find, and not to find good musicians, it was to find the best musicians. So that when there was a birthday party in college, someone else played Happy Birthday very stylishly, and I sang. When there was Christmas carols, someone else played the Christmas carols. Partially it was my female background, not wanting to push myself on things, and also was just realizing I wasn't the best. I wasn't even one of the best. I was okay. But in a music school, okay matters for nothing. Now, either this is a strategy of a music school to weed out people in your freshman year because there's not enough jobs they clearly know in music. So already start telling people, well, you're not going to be an instrumentalist. You could teach piano. You could be a teacher, but you can't be an instrumentalist. Over the course of the many years I went through a music composition degree, because at least I could compose, even that, though that became problematic for a long time period, I didn't try to play the piano. And except for small parts and experimental music pieces, I gave up playing the piano. I gave it up. If I entered a room and there was a piano, I didn't go near it. This is a tragedy. I probably, by the time I was 20, had put in thousands of hours of happy time with piano. And I knew piano. I understood piano. But because I wasn't the best pianist, I felt I could no longer function socially as a piano player. If this only happened to me, I would just not tell you about it. But I saw this happening to people over and over again who went through the music school. They had been a cellist in their high school orchestra. And after 2 years of being a cello instrumentalist, they stopped. Very often people gave up even music as a profession, so that they not only were not playing their instrument, which they had done in high school, but they weren't any longer involved in music. And a lot of this was covered up by the idea, well, I don't think I can find a job in it. But it came down to the idea that in the United States, if you're to function as a musician, you'll only be visible if you seem to be one of the best players in the world. If your teachers think you could be one of the best. If you're only going to be a piano player, you're not going to get a teacher supporting you. But there's a third part of this story. For a variety of reasons, I went to visit nursing homes. Partially with clown groups, and also partially I made some friends in nursing homes, residents there, particularly when, as a clown group, we had frightened some of the residents. I felt terrible, and I would come back the next day or so without the clown nose and just visit that resident that we had scared shitless because of our and so there's a couple of people that come to mind right now. And also the nursing home is only about 2 miles away from here. So it's like a 3-minute car ride. And I would talk with people and I would listen a lot. And then I noticed there were pianos in nursing homes and nobody was playing them. So I thought, but I can play the piano. And then I looked around and said, is anyone from the music school here? Nope. They had given up on me. Why would anyone from the music school go to a nursing home? So I walked over to the piano and found, if it was in a lunchtime or just on the hallway, that the people loved live piano music, a living pianist. I could pick up songs really easily in the garden, etc. They'd sing and I would scramble around and pick it up. So I found my life again with the piano because of nursing homes. And now when I go to people's houses, I think, okay, yeah, I know, I'm not the best. I'm not even very good. I'm not good at all, actually. But darn it, I can play the piano. And it can play with me. And I'm going to bring live music to people and make people sing. Even they, maybe they were singers once, but maybe they went to music school and gave up singing because they were not the best. So for people that are thinking of going into a music school, watch out. They will take the thing you love away from you. You'll let them. I don't know if this is all music schools, but as I said, this was the University of Illinois. I'm not blaming that particular music school, but somewhere the adjective, the best piano player, took music away from me. I once made a questionnaire for composers saying, would you be willing to have a new music series with people listening attentively but who don't have much skill in listening if you did it in a nursing home, because there people have time and they have interest to give anything. And I remember the response was, why would anyone play in a nursing home? So composers did not think of even offering new music in a nursing home. That's my story about playing piano.